Chapter 22 brought together the essential tools and habits every real estate professional must master to maintain compliance, protect clients, and shield themselves and their brokerage from liability. Throughout this chapter, you explored how professional risk is not something you eliminate. It is something you manage, track, and control through intentional practice. This summary connects each major concept you learned into one cohesive review. Understanding risk in real estate practice. You learn that risk in real estate is inevitable. Every conversation, showing, offer, disclosure, and signature carries legal consequences. The key is not fear, it is structure. Risk becomes manageable when a brokerage commits to clear procedures, ongoing education, proper documentation, and the correct use of standard forms. By following written policies, verifying information, and documenting decisions, licensees dramatically reduce their exposure to lawsuits, complaints, and financial losses. Risk management strategies. You examined the 4 essential strategies: avoidance, reduction, transference, and retention. Avoidance is rarely possible, but reduction occurs through training, disclosure, documentation, and systematic office procedures. Transference happens through insurance and shifting liability to the proper parties. Retention is recognizing that some risks are small and simply handled through careful practice. Together, these strategies create a balanced, proactive approach. Education as the first line of defense. Education is not optional. It is the foundation of risk prevention. You learned why agents must understand brokerage forms, contract components, office procedures, and state-specific requirements. In most states, brokers are legally obligated to train their agents, and agents are personally responsible for completing continuing education and seeking additional training when needed. When agents understand the process, they make fewer errors and protect their clients more effectively. Complete and accurate disclosure. Disclosure is one of the most powerful tools for reducing client complaints. You learned that disclosure applies to more than just property condition. It includes agency relationships, material defects, personal interest, compensation arrangements, and other legally required notices. Proper disclosure prevents misunderstandings and protects both sides from claims that they were misled or uninformed. Documentation and record keeping. A complete paper trail is one of the strongest defenses in the event of a complaint. You explored what must be kept in a transaction file, including contracts, employment records, earnest money receipts, escrow instructions, closing statements, rejected offers, correspondence, communication notes, and more. Brokers must keep these records, often for 5 years, and ensure that earnest money, trust funds, and other items of value are handled according to state law. Documentation proves what occurred and protects against accusations of dishonesty or negligence. Policy manuals, procedure manuals, and standard forms. You learned why every brokerage should maintain and enforce written manuals. Policy manuals outline rules, expectations, and company culture. Procedure manuals spell out exactly how to handle transactions, deposits, MLS activity, signage, communication protocols, and legal compliance. Standard forms, usually created by attorneys, reduce legal risk and prevent unauthorized practice of law. Examples include listing agreements, buyer agency agreements, property disclosures, addenda, and referral disclosures. When forms change, agents must sign acknowledgments to confirm updated knowledge. Communication records and transaction logs. You explored the importance of confirming important conversations by email or text and keeping communication notes in the file. Because many disputes arise from differences in memory, written communication provides legal protection and clarifies expectations. You also examined how to archive emails, store texts, and log transaction activities systematically. Insurance and the transfer of risk insurance is a significant tool in transference, shifting risk to a carrier so that one mistake does not financially ruin a broker or agent. You learned about general liability insurance, fire and hazard coverage, flood insurance, and workers' compensation. Most importantly, you learned about errors and omissions, E&O coverage, which protects licensees against claims of negligence, mistakes, and professional errors, but does not cover fraud, violations of law, fair housing violations, escrow mishandling, antitrust behavior, or environmental issues. Surety bonds and the three-party protection system. You learned that surety bonds guarantee performance of a required task. The principal buys the bond, the obligé requires it, and the surety pays legitimate claims. The principal must reimburse the surety for payouts. This system ensures accountability and adds a layer of financial protection for clients and consumers. Discussion 1. Why is documentation considered one of the strongest forms of risk protection? Documentation creates a time-stamped, written history of actions taken, advice given, and decisions made. When a dispute arises, written proof prevents he said, she said situations and provides the clearest evidence of compliance with both legal requirements and brokerage procedures. 2. How does proper disclosure reduce the risk of client complaints? Disclosure ensures that clients are not surprised or misled. When clients understand property condition, agency relationships, compensation, and transaction risks, they are less likely to feel manipulated or uninformed. Clear disclosure builds trust and protects against claims of misrepresentation. 3. Why must a brokerage have both a policy manual and a procedures manual? The policy manual explains rules, expectations, and professional standards. The procedures manual explains exactly how to perform each process, from handling earnest money to listing a property. Together, they create a complete system for consistent, compliant practice. 4. Why is errors and omissions insurance not a substitute for ethical behavior, E&O? Insurance covers mistakes, but not illegal or unethical actions. Fraud, fair housing violations, escrow mismanagement, and criminal behavior are excluded. Agents must still follow the law and maintain ethical standards to prevent risk exposure. Closing remarks. Chapter 22 brought together everything required to run a safe, compliant, and professionally managed real estate business. Risk management is not a single task. It is a mindset, a system, and a daily practice. You learned how education, communication, documentation, standardization, transparency, and insurance create a layered defense that protects clients, brokers, and licensees alike. These principles apply to every transaction, every conversation, and every professional decision. When agents consistently apply them, risk is controlled, compliance becomes second nature, and the brokerage thrives with fewer crises and higher client trust. Chapter 22